YouTube and our Station One listeners, it's time for another episode. And this time we got a great one for you, folks. We are going to be talking about the best stuff you ever ate. Yes, I'm being PG-13 on this title. And this time, it's been a year since we've done this. So it's going to be a lot of fun to do. We got a great crew to talk all about it. And this time we are looking at road food, folks. Not roadkill, but road food. And it's, when I first came up with the topic, Judy was like, ew, road food? It's like, no, not off the road, but like road trips, because all of us have taken road trips and, either with your mom and dad when you were a little kid or, as an adult, you want to go follow the road and you've stopped for breakfast, you've stopped for lunch, dinner, even coffee or snacks and stuff. And there are some amazing places that you're going to pass. Some of them are no longer with us anymore either. And it's going to be awesome to be able to find out about this stuff. And we got a great crew here to talk about it. And let's get introductions out of the way. Of course, we have the newbie to the show. Let's welcome Rebecca Davis.
Hi.
Rebecca, you want to tell everyone?
Sure. Thanks for having me, everyone. I'm Rebecca Davis. I am a podcaster. I host and produce a show called Three Fries Short about Stargate. And I'm happy to be here and talking with ESO and getting involved. So thank you.
Exactly. And of course, we have Tyra Burton.
Hi. I don't know who I am. I'm a podcaster and occasionally a professor, and I do a podcast for Coles College with Kennesaw State called Building Bold Connections, and I have a couple of other podcasts that I keep needing to record for.
Exactly. And last but not least by any means, let's welcome Cheryl Gendron back to the show.
Hey, everybody. My name's Cheryl. I am Michael's little sister, much more mature and grounded, centered, cheesy. I think he beats me on the cheesy scale, though.
I don't know what you're talking about. The fine dapper house and everything, and I have this behind me. It's interesting that way, but it's kind of cool, and it's great to have you back because you actually had been on one of the food shows already, and
I love food. Love eating.
You're one of the biggest. You and your hubby are one of the biggest foodies we know. So that's why I wanted to, that and music, everyone always says, Mike, you go to so many concerts. And I say, you think I go to a lot. Look at the girl below me. She definitely is. She goes to more music than anybody I know. So it's pretty cool. And of course, my co-host for tonight, Mr. Mike Gordon is here.
Howdy.
How are you, sir? Are you ready for some road food?
Yeah, well, like whenever we do these best food, this is going to make me hungry, and it's if you're listening, it's probably going to make you hungry as well. So just be warned. We'll put that warning tag on it.
Exactly. Food talk ahead. Talk ahead. And it's going to be awesome. And we definitely would love to hear from you at home. Feedback at ourstation1.com is the best way to get in touch with us, or like if you're listening to us through a YouTube, feedback is always easy enough. Just put it under the title. Also, while you're here, like and subscribe. It's always a great way to do it. All right, Mr. Mike, you want to be the MC for tonight?
We'll take it on the road, right?
Exactly.
I guess we'll get started. This one
was going to be the Guy Fieri for tonight?
No,
basically.
No, I'm not. No, don't put that on me. Because this one was a stumper for me. Because I guess I'm a no nonsense guy, because when I travel, I just want to get to some place. Like I don't like stop and shop or stop and look around or stop and like we just go. So it was really confusing to me because I was like, well, breakfast, lunch, I just get something, and if I can, I'll eat it in the car and I just keep going. I just want to get there and then do really cool stuff, right? When I get to the destination. So I'm kind of curious as to what everybody else is going to choose. My answers are probably going to be pretty pedestrian, if you'll pardon that pun. I'm really curious to see how you guys are playing it. So Rebecca, we'll start with you. What choice did you have for best breakfast?
I had two choices. I have two choices for everything. One of them's kind of a generic thing, and one of them was like a specific thing because I just couldn't pick. So for my breakfast, the generic thing was I've done a lot of touring playing music, and I've done even international on the road touring. And in England and Scotland, just getting like a really good breakfast or like a bacon roll, like in the morning, so good. Like just the bread and the bacon is completely different than it is in America. And I just became obsessed with just grabbing one of those and going. Highly recommend at anybody who goes there. They're also super cheap, so really easy to get. And then I thought like farther back in the history of me to when I was in college, and there used to be this tiny little burrito stand right outside of my college, which was Bard College in Annandale-on-Hudson, New York. And I'm not sure if it's still there anymore. I think it was called Bubby's Burrito Stand.
Bubby's? I love
Bubby's.
it.
Yeah. It was like a little trailer, like a food truck, basically. And probably was what started my love of food trucks, because I really love a good food truck. But anytime I'd be leaving college, like in the summertime to go home or something, always stop by the burrito stand and pick up a breakfast burrito on the way out. So those were my two breakfast choices.
Not bad.
Oh, that's awesome. That is cool. Very good.
Bacon. Can you tell us about that? I don't know that I've ever heard.
A bacon roll is literally what it sounds like. It's bacon on a piece of bread. And that sounds really plain, but you can put brown sauce on it, which is a very popular sauce in the UK. It's kind of like maybe a little bit like steak sauce or something. It's hard to describe it, but it's just the quality of the bread, and it's toasted so perfectly. And then it's thicker pieces of bacon than we generally have over here.
Mm-hmm.
So
kind of like what do they call it? Like not back bacon, but Canadian bacon, like Canadian bacon.
Yeah, maybe a little, less hammy. Like it definitely tastes more bacony, but it's just thicker. And it's very satisfying. They'll wrap it up in foil for you so you can just take it and go.
I think they call it like thick cut bacon or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And we did a lot of had to get on buses to road trip it around there. So it was perfect to just grab and stuff in a bag or something and have on the go.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Sherry, what about you?
So my favorite breakfast I eat all over the place, and I love a good road trip, and we want to map out the best food. We will not go to a chain place when we're out on the road.
Amen, sister.
Right, bro. And there's so many breakfast places. I had a hard time narrowing it down, but I did. This was a feast for your eyes, a feast for your taste buds. It was the Worcester Diner in Worcester, Massachusetts. We're up there for a music festival, spelled Worcester, right? So don't get confused, but it looked like a trolley car. It's Worcester, the Worcester Diner. The waitress was a beautiful, old-timey, the perked, the cat eye glasses and a little, very attitudey, but boy, the food was the bomb. We had a ricotta strawberry stuffed French toast, and it was not fancy. It was like a ricotta poofy cream cheesy thing falling out the sides, very poofy bread. I mentioned Texas toast, and that was kind of a Texas toast. And this is how we roll. That was for the whole table because we all wanted to get our own breakfast entree too. So boy, I just dream of going back to that place up in Worcester, Massachusetts. WORCES.
Very, very much familiar with it. That's where I went to college.
So do you know that Worcester Diner then, Mike?
I do know the Worcester Diner, yes. I am familiar with it. It's been a long time since I've been there. So and it wasn't really close to the college, if I correct because I went to Clark, and I think it's more towards downtown, right? Yeah, so downtown area, I think.
Well, that's where the festival was, so it probably was down there, and there was a long wait. I mean, it's like a dining car. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I love diners, so very cool. I did not expect. That's the second day in a row where I did not expect to hear about Worcester. So yesterday I met somebody who actually went to my college, which is just amazing to me that I don't usually meet fellow alumni. But anyway. Tyra, what about you? What do you have for breakfast on the road?
We love breakfast, and we love a good buffet because you can try everything. So my favorite is actually La Pavilion in New Orleans. It's across down the street from the stadium near the French Quarter, and they have jazz playing while you're eating, and somebody's playing a live piano, and it's beautifully decorated, and you feel like you're a king or queen while you're eating, and the made for you omelets are fabulous, and I would go there again in a heartbeat.
Nice. Very nice. Wow. Jazz playing.
That's pretty
For
awesome.
breakfast.
For breakfast.
For breakfast.
Well,
I would
might be
usually be like,
drinking.
oh, it's too loud. Oh, God.
I've never been to New Orleans, but I understand that jazz is
no.
just playing everywhere. Like,
It
well, no
is.
matter what you're doing. Like,
It
right?
is.
Like, yeah, even if you're using the loo, like there's somebody playing jazz there, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
everywhere you
Long
walk,
time
you hear-
Dixieland.
Yes.
uh
And drinking. There is also
oh
drinks
yes, and
involved.
drinking.
There's
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
And
in New
drinking.
Orleans.
At
anytime.
breakfast.
Of course.
All right, Mike, what about you?
Okay, I'm going to go follow around with my sister actually a little bit. It's someplace we actually went all together when we were driving up to Maine. We had met at the airport, and then we started taking off in the morning. We went to Salem, Massachusetts, actually, and we went to Deb's Diner. And Deb's Diner is this little old car. It's also a train car, and it only has 8 seats in the whole diner. And so people line up on the weekends to get into this place, and it's cash only. And when you order, say you want some eggs and bacon, and then and it also comes with pancakes, it also comes with toast, it comes with also a side of French toast, and they just keep on bringing the food and bringing the food and bringing the food, and everything in there is made from scratch. That's why. And it was just amazing. And and they talk to you, they get to know you, they don't rush you out of this place either. It's such a small seating, but sometimes people stay an hour eating breakfast in this place, and it's just amazing. I would recommend this to anybody if you ever get a chance. And it was not like anything else we've ever had before. They just kept on bringing food. Oh, do you want to try the brand new challah French toast we started? And they bring you samples of everything also as they're doing it, and it was just amazing. And
They were so nice. They were
exactly
nice, weren't they, Mike?
and the coffee was just to die for. So a breakfast place has to have good coffee.
Oh, well,
that, because that can kill a breakfast right there if it's bad.
Yeah, I would say that could kill a lot of things. I'm not a coffee person, so I trust you on that. But yeah, I did not expect 2 of these choices to be in Massachusetts, so that's amazing. Even though I grew up there, my choice is not in in Massachusetts. And this, like I said, these are tough for me because usually, we're at the hotel, we just have the breakfast there, and I just load up on protein, I just load up on whatever, because I never know when I'm going to have lunch. So I don't want to be hungry for like 4 or 5 hours. I just want food. And it doesn't really matter to me, just as long as it's semi-decent, and some hotels are better than others, of course. But, and then,
you don't like egg loaf?
Egg loaf, no. I certainly don't. I will say the hotel that I stayed at this past weekend, not to mention any names, but they used I hate to say it, but they use the powdered eggs, the powdered scrambled eggs, which is just the worst.
This is emphasis on the cuss words, not on the best part,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was thinking like, okay, so where have I gone that if I wanted to have a great breakfast before I left somewhere, where would I pick? And Mike and I have been to this place, and it's some place that we didn't go to breakfast, but it was really awesome. And that is Aretha Frankenstein's in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh, it is amazing.
It is the best place the best pancakes I've ever had in the world. We're at this place.
Downtown?
It's
just off
actually
of downtown.
it's across the river from the aquarium.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't close, you guys? Didn't it close during COVID?
It closed
during COVID.
It did close during COVID, but they brought it back. Yeah. And again, another limited seating area.
Yeah.
And they only have like 5 tables in this place, but they also have like a counter, so you can come in for that. And again, people line up for this, but you could also get their pancake and waffle mix at the grocery store or order it.
So I have to tell you guys, after the last podcast, I wanted those pancakes so bad. I ordered them and then bought them for all my friends for Christmas and for my kids. So I bought them homemade maple and the Aretha Franklin's. And the box is so fun, you guys. It's like really like an old time cereal box, like where you get the mix. So yeah, it was a big hit because you have to use buttermilk. I think that's the secret is buttermilk.
I think so. But
not good for those
really
vegetarians out there.
Yeah. And I think I just had the pancakes, so I can't, the other food. But I mean, if you're I can't imagine going to Aretha Franklin's and not getting the pancakes. I mean, I'm sure their other food is good, but the pancakes is what the selling point is for me. And so, yeah. So, all right. Any honorable mentions for places to go for breakfast?
Yeah, I want to add one. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Tyra inspired me. There's in New Orleans, there is another amazing place for brunch, Michael. We went there, the Commander's Palace, that is a super beautiful place to eat. So much New Orleans class. But on Sundays, I don't know if it's just Sundays, but during the brunch, often there's a 3-piece that goes around with a stand-up bass,
jazz band,
a trumpet player, not a trombone, but a trumpet player. They'll sing, I'll Fly Away while you're eating. One time we went there for brunch.
I don't know that song. I Fly Away while I'm eating.
They did a women's purple hat club and we're sitting there eating and all these women came in from babies all the way up to 90 with fancy hats. And one of them got up and started singing. I was like, and the food, let me tell you about the best strawberry shortcake you'll ever have. So,
the food was amazing there. And that's where Emeril Lagasse actually got his start. So it's amazing. If you ever get to New Orleans, definitely go to Commander's.
It's in the Garden District. Stay away from Bourbon Street.
French Quarter. You don't need the French Quarter.
I like the French Quarter.
The French Quarter is great, but it's a tourist trap.
Not Bourbon. Just don't go to Bourbon. There's lots of great places.
There's a really great seafood place right off of Bourbon that's cheap and grungy and awesome.
Well, my favorite.
It's not Coops, is it, Tyra? Did you go to Coops?
Is it across from Sinesta?
No, it's a little bit further up. Okay. Yeah, you might be thinking. Yeah.
So there's some other, for cheap and easy on the road. I'm gonna say, Waffle House is always.
No.
Hold on.
Yes. Waffle House.
I'm standing alone in my
Waffle House. Waffle House.
I'm a native Georgian. Waffle houses are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, I'm logging off. I'll see you guys later.
As the pin I bought yesterday calls it, Southern Hibachi.
Exactly.
It's dinner and a show. You just don't know what the show is.
It is. You just never know what you're going to get.
Those potatoes that just they just take a piece of cheese and just stick it like American cheese.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's so awesome. And then you get
2 if you ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's covered, capped, and diced, and all the spread
for it. That's
exactly.
Right.
It's awesome. And before I moved to the South, I would go Waffle House. Oh no way! But it's something about it that just grows.
The ashes that mix in with the
all of it.
So it's
good.
Wonderful.
When I was in college in New York, I had a Northern roommate and we did a cultural exchange. She came down for half the spring break here. And then she was from New Jersey. So I went to New Jersey. So I introduced her to Waffle House and she introduced me to a proper New Jersey diner. So
which is always
Rebecca, how could you go back after that?
Oh, easily.
Waffle House.
I will forever sing the praises of Waffle House.
I hear you.
There's nothing like it at 3:00 in the morning when you're not exactly.
That's the best time. That's the best time. Yeah.
You're driving, somewhere late at night and it's dark, and then you see the glowing yellow sign, and it's just like, it's Waffle House, and and the same lady with the the hairnet and everything is working at each one you come to. So So it's perfect.
There are clones.
Unless
That's
they
like
quit
that.
while you're there.
Exactly.
Right. You would just walk
I've
out.
had
They'll
that
quit
happen.
on you.
Mhm.
Well, I certainly, when I moved to Atlanta, I was impressed by the number of them because I didn't think anything could rival the amount of Dunkin' Donuts places that were in Massachusetts. And
Dunks.
yet, Waffle House comes very close.
Yeah, just never
I mean-
tell somebody that you're going to meet them at the Waffle House on Peachtree. Then
Oh,
you're
gosh.
That could be anybody. All right,
Exactly.
so that's done. We're done with breakfast. It's time for lunch. We're on the road. Tyra, where are we going?
Okay, this is my favorite because we actually rerouted our trip to go there again. It's called Bogart Smokehouse in St. Louis, and they close at 4:00 or until they run out. And they usually run out way before 4. And if you want to get the burnt ends, you got to get there when they open.
Oh, I love burn ends.
I do too. That's where I fell in love with burnt ends. And so we went there, but we actually rerouted our trip so we could go there twice.
Wow.
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 That is
So
awesome.
good. You have it on the way back?
Yeah, we went over to Kansas City. My husband's a St. Louis Cardinals and Kansas City Chiefs fan. So it was our sports trip. We were doing stadiums and we actually rerouted back through St. Louis on our way home so we could go twice.
Nice. All right. Shuri, we'll go with you.
All right.
Yeah. So
As the gourmet of the group.
well, it's snooty, right? A little snooty, it seems. I hope I'm not stealing Michael's thunder, but Mike and I and our spouses went on a trip up to Maine, and we ended up in Portland and ate at the Lobster Shack in Portland, which was right on the water. And the food, there was no ambiance. It was a shack and it was expensive, but it wasn't fancy. It was Waffle House probably, but it was delicious, everything fried. But the lobster rolls, of course, were the highlight. They were so good. Mike, I think you got fried clams. Did you get fried clams?
I did.
Yeah, that's his thing. And but we all kind of took bites of everybody's. And again, it was Rocky Coast, perfect Portland. So it didn't seem too touristy, but it probably was. But I mean, it was definitely off the beaten path.
It's off the beaten path, and it's south of the Portland Lighthouse, and everyone sees the pictures of and everything. And my friend Eric Rasmussen actually introduced me to it when we came up to visit him, and it is an amazing seafood shack. And that's what Maine is known for, is the seafood shack. If you are a fan of seafood, clam chowder, the fried clams, the lobster rolls, and and also you can get the fried cod, and it's just amazing stuff.
Yeah,
So
and it's like,
cool.
it's a shack. It's like Waffle House style, right? But it's here's your lobster roll for $44.
Yeah. And they can get away with it because it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is
Waffle
really good.
House is not $44.
No, that's what I mean. It's all none of the bells and whistles, but
yeah,
it's great.
But it's interesting because when we were we were coming up for a wedding in our cousins in Massachusetts, and we went to Quincy Market in Boston, and there was another runner-up. It was voted one of the best lobster rolls in Boston, and we had gone. Cheryl was with us, and we had gone, and it was amazing. And they also had lobster mac and cheese, and it was just amazing stuff.
Is that your pick as well?
No.
Mike?
No.
All right. Well, we'll hear your pick in a second. But Rebecca, what about you? Where would you go for lunch?
I had a hard time with lunch because I feel like I have so many choices. And it's interesting because other people have already mentioned New Orleans, but I'll give my generic one first, which is, if you're ever road tripping through Germany, do yourself a favor and get doner kebab. It's like literally the best grab and go food in Germany, which is funny because it's Turkish, but it's like they're everywhere, and I have never had a bad one there. like anywhere in Germany. So highly recommend. But no, I went with the muffaletta from Napoleon House in New Orleans. The time I went to New Orleans, I think I ate muffaletta at Napoleon House 3 times while I was there. Like, no lie, love a good muffaletta sandwich. So, and they're like, if you order them in fourths, because the whole sandwich is like literally this big, and then they cut it into fourths, and you can like order a half or a fourth or a whole. So
what is a doner
kebab? They like, it's like they should, the like meat on the spit, and they shave it off, and they put it in a pita, and they put all the like Mediterranean Turkish like sauces and stuff all over it. Usually actually really fresh vegetables too. So it's just a really good sandwich, like wrapped up, and they're just everywhere. Like in Berlin, especially at like on almost every corner, you've got a doner kebab shop. So that's just
is
become
it like is it the meat of a gyro or gyro?
It's like gyro meat. And or you can order different ones too. There's chicken, they usually, most of the places will offer a lot of different kinds, but it's delicious and it's everywhere. So don't be afraid if anybody's ever traveling through Germany. Get some doner kebab. I actually got some in Ireland one time too, weirdly, and it was also delicious. So
yeah.
I think that's kind of like the Mexican, like, Mexican food in the South is probably not even super accurate doner kebab compared to Turkish in Germany, but it's still delicious.
Yeah, I used to see shops
delicious.
like that when I was in London, and you kind of would worry because like you're like, how long has it been spinning in that place like all day? Like, but I was so good you didn't care.
You just got to be adventurous and just have faith that it'll be okay.
Exactly.
It's so good though.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I was going to say, what a way to go, right? Like,
right.
All right, Mike, what was your pick for lunch?
All right. It's another place my sister has been with me. We're going also to New Orleans, and we are going to Krabby Jack's for our favorite po' boys. If you are a fan of po' boys, folks, it was amazing. It is literally a hole in the wall that you could drive past and not even notice. And you'd be driving by and you'd see a lot of people standing outside in line to get in. And you're like going, what is this place? And it is some of the most amazing po' boys. And I've had po' boys like at Mother's in New Orleans. I've had, a couple other places, but Krabby Jack's takes the cake. These things are huge and they're good. And you can mix what kind of po' boy you want. Like I got a roast beef and shrimp po' boy, and with the what do they call it, the fixins and stuff, so they pour the sauce on it and everything, and it is just amazing.
I think they call it dressed, right?
The dressing, that's it. And it is po' boy. It's, if you're in the mood for a po' boy, you will not go hungry in this place.
If you like fried shrimp, this is where you go. I'm telling you. But the locals know that the roast beef is the way to go. So I go down and get the
exactly shrimp. And they they ask, do you want the burnt ends on it, or do you want, how do you want the meat? And it's just amazing. There's crawfish po' boys, there's so many, there's chicken, there's shrimp, there's oyster po' boys. It's just amazing what they have there, and the food is just beyond belief, and it's to die for. It's really that good.
Wow.
So
very nice.
Well, I'm glad to know, because my husband loves Mother's, and I'm okay with Mother's, so I gotta drive him to Krabby Jack's now.
It's off the beaten path, Tyra. It's not downtown, so you definitely, it's like past the Garden District all the way.
It's almost the airport, actually.
Yeah, like it's actually a nice place to stop either on the way or to the airport. Like maybe coming or going into New Orleans.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of airports, this one was a tough one for me because, like I said, when I'm on the road, lunch is just not a luxury that I indulge in because I just want to get to where I'm going. So I'll usually just snack or whatever. I sacrifice lunch because I've had a big breakfast. When I get to where I want to go, then have dinner, whatever. So I was really puzzling. What would my choice be for lunch? But then I remembered the traveling, right? Now, airport food, not usually something people talk about. But I will say that this place is someplace that whenever I would pick someone up at the airport, or whenever I was going somewhere, I would try to get there early to go to this place. When I was picking someone up, before we left, we would eat at this place because it was that good that we didn't, want to go home right away. And I don't think it's at the airport anymore, actually, but it's a small chain here. Maybe it's a large chain, but it's the Atlanta Bread Company. I love sandwiches. And this is a deli, and it's also fresh. The vegetables and all that stuff are fresh, and deli. It's really good. They have deli sandwiches there. It's not a deli for New York deli. No, I will say that.
No.
Okay, Faber snobs. You just hang out over there. We'll be at Waffle House. This is
if we're gonna allow Waffle House,
Waffle House.
If we let it Waffle House into this,
you gotta let in Atlanta Bread.
Yeah. I would eat at Atlanta Bread Company like 10 times before I'd eat at Waffle House once. So, and I don't have anything against Waffle House, but no, I like a good sandwich, and they make a good sandwich, and their bread is great. They're a bakery as well, and I wish there's not any at the airport anymore, and I don't even know where one is because a lot of them have closed.
There's one in Greenville, South Carolina.
There's one in Greenbelt, Maryland.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
There's one on
Mike, you
Parkway
can get your
in Kennesaw.
bagels there from now on. It's perfect.
Mike, I think that's where Aunt Carol was hiding, or what was it? Aunt Carol that was hiding. Who was hiding at the airport? Remember when somebody surprised Dad, and
yes.
Dad was at the Atlanta Bread Company. Ma'am, can I don't remember. My dad always had such a great story, but they tried to surprise my aunt surprised her.
It's a long story, folks.
Sorry.
You don't want
Edit that out.
No, it's staying in.
Nope.
It's staying in.
Michael,
Anyway.
come see me. There's one in Kennesaw.
Oh, okay. All
Right
right.
off
Well,
the-
that's a reason to go there because, and because a sandwich to me, like certain sandwiches weigh you down, and other sandwiches like kind of lift you up. And if it's full of fresh food, it lifts me up. So I get energy from that. So I appreciate what Atlanta Bread Company does. So they don't make sandwiches as good as I do at home, but that's
Nobody does, dude.
nobody does. That's true.
Nobody does it better.
But we're talking about on the road. All right, so now we're going to dinner, right?
Right.
So,
Honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, Mike, you got an honorable mention?
Yeah. Honorable mention.
Is it Waffle House
And-
again?
No, it's not a Waffle House this time. It's better. It's Buc-ee's, folks.
Oh, yes.
I have a prop for that too.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
good
course.
timing.
Oh, hello.
I knew
love Buc-ee's.
I knew Buc-ee's was coming into it, but I thought it would be in the last category.
Michael's
So
he's a bit of a Michael Faber. He's a bit of a Buc-ee's bully, actually. We were
Buc-ee's
on the
bully.
road. Buc-ee's bully, and he was relentless. Stop at Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's, you got the brisket. You got to eat the brisket.
Oh, it's
so
good. The brisket is good, though.
the brisket is good.
The brisket is amazing. And
And the
truthfully,
jerky.
Buc-ee's is also has all this different types of jerky, including venison.
I'm a
And
vegetarian, by the way.
yeah, I know. But Cheryl, they cater to vegetarians too.
They also
And-
have running shorts. I bought a pair
Exactly.
of running shorts there. They got me. I walked in. I didn't know what to do. I ended up with all this Buc-ee's merchandise. I
And I
don't.
don't even run.
Exactly. But truthfully, Buc-ee's also has the best bathrooms anywhere.
My brother,
Well,
he
that-
texted me.
That is
Brisket
true. Their bathrooms
bathrooms.
are pretty good. When you're on the road and you need a good bathroom, they're pretty good.
Yeah, you have to get rid of the road food. Come on, somewhere.
That'll be the next podcast.
Exactly. Where do
Yeah,
you
that's-
get rid of them?
That's another
No,
reason why I thought Buc-ee's was going to be last on our choices.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Truthfully, for lunch, Buc-ee's is amazing. It's not that expensive, and truthfully, their brisket, I would put it up with almost anybody's.
Not with
And-
Judy's.
No, it's different.
It's different.
But yeah, but yeah, it's awesome for the sandwiches. But also, they do homemade potato chips. They do, all this really cool stuff that they make from scratch at the restaurant. and everything. And so it's pretty cool. And they have a full deli there. And my second runner up though is also Publix for lunch on the road.
Their subs are good.
The Publix
are great.
The Publix subs are amazing. And if you're a fan of chicken, I would recommend their chicken tender sub. Can't be beat by any place.
Yeah.
So
I like a good ultimate sub from them. That's really solid.
There's no Publix up here.
I know, but
no Buc-ee's either.
But you guys have Wawa. You guys
no
have
Waffle
Wawa.
House either.
You have Wawa.
There is waffles.
Oh, Wawa though. Wawa.
Yeah, Wawa. Wawa has great subs also.
I was also introduced to Wawa from that same college roommate. So cultural exchange.
Any other options for lunch? All right, we're gonna get right to dinner then. All right, Sherry, we'll go with you for dinner. Where are we going?
We're headed back to New Orleans.
Do I need to wear a suit?
No, we're going back to New Orleans.
You never wear a suit on the road, dude.
So interesting. I know you guys.
That's what Bucky says.
Mike had Krabby Jacks, Krabby Bill, Krabby. Who is it again?
Krabby Jacks.
Krabby Jacks.
Krabby Jacks is actually owned and operated by Giacomo's, the same owners of Giacomo's downtown. It's not in downtown New Orleans. It's all the way out, down, in the Garden District, deep in the Garden District. It's spelled Jacque, Jacques Imo, Giacomo Finane, like the song. It is in an old rickety house. To get into the dining room, you go into the kitchen and out of the kitchen. The ambiance is awesome. They serve you a piece of alligator cheesecake. Again, a lot of this stuff is before I became a vegetarian. Pescatarian, I should say. But anyway, their food is delicious. If you like fried chicken, if you like red fish, they have, just the freshest, yummiest food, really original, very fun spot. They even have a table out front that's in the back of a pickup truck. So it's right next to a really infamous music club called the Maple Leaf, right on Oak Street, down in past the Garden District again, all the way down into the heart of New Orleans. So it's my spot.
Nice.
All right, man. New Orleans coming up a lot. Rebecca.
I have a story.
Don't we all?
Story.
Story time.
I lived in South Korea for 2 years. And while I was there, my boyfriend and I decided we were going to ride our bicycles from Seoul to Busan, so across South Korea. So this is definitely a road trip of a sort, which is on 2 wheels instead of 4. And about halfway through the country in the middle of nowhere, it was raining one day. It was getting late. We were very worried about getting to the next place we wanted to stop. We go down into this valley and we start hearing like chanting going on. It was really bizarre. And then all of a sudden, a monk in a golf cart comes driving down.
A monk in a golf cart.
A monk in a golf cart. And he's saying things to us in Korean that even though we had some Korean knowledge, his accent was completely different from Seoul. We had no idea what he was saying, but he was motioning us to follow him. So we went up with him to his very small, like kind of lashed together building temple, and they served us bibimbap that they had ready made for dinner on the premises. It was delicious. It was vegetarian because it's Buddhist. They were vegetarian, so a vegetarian version of bibimbap. If you've never had bibimbap, it's like one of the signature Korean dishes. If you like spicy food, you should find Korean food and try it if you never have, because it's all delicious and usually pretty hot. So if you like hot stuff, eat Korean food. But then they, at like 4:00 in the afternoon, because it was like, that was dinner time. They then were like, here, you can stay in this room and go to bed now. And so it was 5:00 at night. We're having to go to bed. But then at 11:00, we were woken up by a drum ceremony that just was happening. It was the most bizarre night ever.
Are you sure you didn't dream this, Rebecca?
I did not dream it. I have pictures.
It sounds dreamy.
Say what was in the tea.
I have the proof, but it was wonderful. All that to say, eat Korean food if you never have. And there's plenty of good Korean food, especially around Atlanta. There's a big Korean community. So go find yourself some spicy Korean food for dinner.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Tyra, where are we going for lunch? For dinner, sorry.
We're going to Las Vegas.
Woo! Vegas,
Hey.
baby.
So I was
Hey,
lucky
are
enough
we going to the same place?
I don't know. We'll find out. So I got lucky enough to go to the Consumer Electronics Showcase, and I was there by myself and running around trying to find some place to eat. And Morimoto's at the MGM Grand had a bar that I could eat at without a reservation. And it was literally the best sushi I've had in my life, with the best bartender who served me amazing Jameson and told the guy next to me when he said something about me using my fingers to eat the sushi that Chef Morimoto ate with his fingers. And I was proper, and the guy could go shove it. And then I got more Jamesons. It was wonderful. But
Sounds like a great night, Tyra.
Oh, it was. And the best sushi ever. If you love sushi, you can't beat Morimoto's. The one in Orlando
Love sushi.
is spot on as well. Every time we go to Disney, we eat there too. So Morimoto's, wherever you are, go eat there.
Morimoto's. All right.
You know, the Iron Chef.
Mike, where are we going for dinner?
We're staying in Vegas, actually. But we're going over to Caesar's Palace. And we are going to the Bashano Buffet, folks. We are looking at the king of buffets in Las Vegas. This is a place that you are guaranteed not to leave hungry. It is all 5-star restaurant buffets, different stands, different areas. You know, you could have deli food, then you could have roast beef, but 5 different types of roast beef. Then they have pork, and then they have sausage, then they have, and it's like a meat eater's paradise. Then they have vegetarian dishes, salads, but also chef inspired dishes for vegetarians and such. Then you could walk over to the next station. It's all Asian food. It's not just Chinese food like you find at a Chinese buffet. It's Thai, it's Vietnamese. They have bowls. You could custom make your own bowl of pho. It is just amazing. And these are not little tiny dishes. These are huge bowls of pho. And and each one gets better and better as you're going through. Then they have an Italian section, then they have German, and then and it's just like different cultures. And then they have a dessert one that's just to die for, and you literally look like you've gained 20 pounds walking out of this place, because you are eating so much in this place. Judy and I went there when we went to Vegas like 5 years ago, when we got remarried for the 3rd time, and we celebrated that time after we got married by Elvis. Before we went to go to see Beatles Love, we went to the buffet, and it was just amazing. It was worth it. It's not cheap. I think it's like $70 or $80 a person, but dude, you eat your way through this money perfectly. I'd rather spend the money on this than waste it on the tables. So that's how much I enjoyed it. It was pretty amazing.
Wow.
The buffets in Vegas are just amazing.
Yeah, I have heard that.
And they've upped the game too. It's just awesome.
I think when I was 10 or maybe younger, we went to Disney World in Orlando for, I don't know I think it was the 2nd time, but it's this one time I really remember, because I was younger before that, and I don't really remember that trip. But we went to Orlando, and when we got there, I think before we even went to Disney World the next day or whatever, we went to a buffet, an all-you-can-eat buffet. And I'd never been to an all-you-can-eat buffet, and I think I was more excited by that than I was by Disney World. Because I was like, a place where you could just eat whatever. Like, it was just crazy to me. Like, I've never experienced that anything, and where I grew up in Massachusetts. So, it was just, I don't know what buffet it was. I don't know if it's still around, but my eyes must have been like, wow, like just the concept was really amazing.
It didn't have the name Golden Corral in it, did it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. But for me, if I'm on the road, if I'm traveling, when I get to some place and it's time for dinner before I go back to the hotel and crash and do whatever I'm going to do the next day, for me, the best thing is to have comfort food, and there's nothing better for comfort food for me than a diner. A diner for dinner.
Food is awesome.
That was my honorable mention for dinner.
Yep.
Breakfast for dinner.
A diner for dinner, because yes, you have breakfast choices, you have all dinner choices. You can just have a sandwich, however hungry you are, they've got you covered. And there's, there's 3 that are on my list, and I have a really hard time judging like a winner in there. So I'm just going to quickly say, one of them you're probably familiar with, Rebecca, and I know Mike you're familiar with because we ate there on Friday, and that's Stack's Omega Diner, in Greenville, South Carolina. Now these diners they don't look like your traditional, like when you think of a diner, like the tin or the metal outsides or whatever, the cars, but they have everything else right. I mean, the food is right. The service is always friendly. And you better save room for dessert, because all 3 of these places I'm going to mention have beautiful cakes on display, and beautiful bakeries as well. Like they're all set.
Omegas are massive. Like the pieces that they serve you are just
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And but they're good enough that I can take them back to the hotel and finish them off like in the morning or whatever. So they're amazing. So the other choice for a diner is in Chattanooga. It's called the City Diner. I think there's actually 2 of them. One is downtown and one is near the McKay's, right? Yep. Again, both I've been to both. They're both they both are solid, and they're open really late. So if you want a late night dinner, if you've been on the road and it's like 10 or 11, you can still go and get a pretty decent meal at those diners. You can't do that at Stack's Omega.
That's really not late.
Well, you can't do that
for Chattanooga. That's late. Yes.
Wow.
For
Greenville, that's late because Saks closes at 8, even on Friday.
There's nothing in Maryland, like, well, where we live in suburban Maryland, outside of DC. There's no diners. There's no late night dining. It's terrible.
There's no Silver Diner anymore.
It's weird. I have realized that not every place has a cool diner, and Chattanooga and Greenville, there may not be huge metropolitan meccas, but they've got really good diners. The third choice I have for the best diner is the Marietta Diner.
Marietta Diners. Cheryl knows that well. Cheryl knows it well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's out.
She ended up with ketchup on her face there.
Because for me, it's a road trip to get to Marietta. It feels like it takes like 3 or 4 hours to get there sometimes. So, but it's worth it, because again, they have everything you could want, and they do everything pretty well, and that's not an easy thing. Most restaurants have a specialty, and then they make do with other things. But a diner has to cover all their bases, and some are better than others, right? But so they're usually really good. So at least these 3 places are good. You can't go wrong.
Marietta Diner is interesting because it's a true Greek diner. And it's we tease and say it's run by the Greek mafia, and in some ways I think possibly it is.
That's technically all of the Staxes in Greenville too, because it's run by the Stathakis family.
Oh, right.
Yeah, diners were one of their big things when they immigrated over.
And it's awesome.
There is a diner that I've been to as well in Fort Lauderdale, but I can't remember the name of it. So, and I didn't get a chance to look it up. So, but that's pretty good too. But I will say, the one thing that City Diner and Marietta Diner have in common is they get their cakes from the same place. I don't know who makes the cakes, provides the cakes for Greenville, but I mean, I imagine it might be the same place.
It might, I don't know.
Well,
but it's
because Alpine Bakery makes the cakes for Marietta Diner and also for City Diner up in Chattanooga,
and a couple of other places.
Alpine.
They are so good. So good. Red velvet all the way, baby.
They have this one cake, I'm getting sidetracked, that has all the different cakes. It's a cake that has all the different cakes.
I've seen some of those where they stack
cake.
up cakes and pies inside of cakes. Like, that's crazy. But
cheesecake inside of
it, like,
cake.
had a layer of red velvet, of carrot, of chocolate, of lemon. Oh my goodness.
All right.
My honorable mention diner, just to tack on to your diner thing, is in Philadelphia. It's called Bob's Diner, but we call it Diner of the Dead because it's literally like in a cemetery.
Wow,
that's even better.
It's like it's one of the train car diner things, right? But it's like it's inserted in, and like if you look out certain windows, there's the cemetery that's there. So we call it the Diner of the Dead, but it's Bob's.
People die to get in there,
and it's
awesome.
just it's just your standard diner. Like we would always eat the breakfast stuff there, but I think it's more the location is pretty amusing. So
yeah, just
Bob's Diner.
Just as long as they don't have like a Sweeney Todd thing going on there, because that would not be well.
Well, they said they were going to
Philly,
the bathroom.
You know.
I know. It's like, oh my goodness. No.
Don't try the meat pie. That's all I have to
say. Any other honorable mentions for dinner?
Yes, I have one. I just thought of it while we were talking. We would go to Daytona when I was a child and always get pizza at this Athens pizza place. And after I went to college, my parents would actually still go there and they would package up a pizza to bring home to me. And there was like massive discussion in the restaurant of how was the best way to package it so they could get it home. Should they bake it? Should they half bake it? Should they all bake it? So they like would package it up individually, and so my parents could put it in an ice chest. And my mom and I went down there after my dad died, and I tried to find it. And I think I found it. I wasn't 100% sure, but we did find an Athens pizza place there, and we had our regular standard pizza, and it was awesome and a good memory.
No,
that's awesome. Pizza. I do have an honorable mention also. Actually two. One was coming back from a kid. Whenever we used to do road trips, we used to go to Howard Johnson's, and we used to get fried clams. We used to get the fried clam rolls.
It was the fried clam boat. Remember, Mike?
That's right. It was fried clams in a hot dog bun, basically, and it was awesome. And you then used to get for dessert, which we were not talking about yet, but the Howard Johnson's ice cream was always the best. And it was consistent whenever you were on the road. You always found the orange roof, and it was pretty darn awesome. My other honorable mention is it's a small chain in the DC area, and we used to drive, when we used to go out at night and stuff, and we used to go to Hard Times Cafe, which is a chili place that's located in the DC area, and it is amazing. They had 5 different types of chili, and it was amazing to be able to do.
Still around.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I think there's the one in Rockville still, and I think there's a couple. I think Arlington, I think, is another one.
The one in Rockville is gone, babe.
No.
Maybe College Park.
No, I know there's Old Town Alexandria also still there, because I get emails from them, so saying we miss you. No, and it's awesome because they have Cincinnati chili, they have Texas chili, Carolina chili, and it's awesome. They have a vegetarian chili, and it's some amazing stuff. And they literally cook it. Everyone sits around the kitchen basically at the place, and it's pretty awesome when they do that. And the food is greasy, it's delicious, and if you're driving anywhere, you'll have to run to get somewhere to be able to take care of the dish, which is pretty awesome.
Cool. You had a second one too?
That was my second one.
Gotcha.
I had one. What about Vincent's Pizza Park, Mike?
Oh, Vincent's is awesome.
Talk about ashes. This place was a total hole in the wall in Forest Hills, Pennsylvania, right outside of Pittsburgh. So after Steelers game, we're headed home, right, to get to the turnpike, and it's a pizza place with pizzas the size of a small table with big poofy burnt, bubbles around the edges with pools of oil in the center. The sausage were like these baseball mounds of like, again, when I ate meat, I don't eat meat anymore. Boy, oh, we drive home with probably, still 3/4 of it. And it would like smell up the whole
Well, do you remember
car.
when we used to go to the drive-in? We used to get the pizza and take it out to the
Yes, I lived
drive-in
in
with us.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, I lived in Pittsburgh for a little while and in Forest Hills. And we would have never known about this pizza place if I had lived in the area, because it's not downtown. It's
a
but
suburb.
again, you'd see Vincent, who's no longer with us, but he'd have a cigarette hanging out of his mouth with the ash this long as he's getting the pizza prepared.
That's talent.
And it's worth the trip to Pittsburgh just for that, though.
Yeah,
it really is.
I mean, we do. We definitely hit it whenever we can, even as a vegetarian. And now, unfortunately, we have 2 of those table-sized pizzas because we got to get a veggie one.
I'm gonna give a honorable mention to a place that I've been once, but it's really more of a place that Michelle loves. And Tyra, you just reminded me of it because just this week it was her birthday, so we had pizza shipped from Iowa to heat up here because you cannot get this stuff anywhere else. Well, it's a chain, so you can get it in parts of the Midwest and various other places too, but nothing in the South. And it's a pizza and ice cream place called Happy Joe's. We did not get the ice cream shipped down here, but just the pizza. But they, in addition to making like traditional pizza or whatever, I will say that it is unique tasting. So I can understand why growing up, you would get attached to it and not be able to find it anywhere else. So you'd be craving it. So you need to get it shipped or something like that. They have different signature pizzas that Michelle loves, and she's never been able to get. Like one of them is sauerkraut pizza, which I can,
Whoa.
Yeah, sorry, not enough for me either.
No, but, I like it. No, I love sauerkraut. I think that's good.
But she was very the smile on her face when we heated it up and she took her first bite was worth the whole whatever it cost to ship it down here. And then they have a taco pizza, which they were one of the first restaurant companies in the world to do this, and they do it better than it's great. It's better than any taco pizza I've ever had before. It doesn't it sounds weird, but it was really good. So so I will give
we'll take your word on it. Okay.
Shout out to Happy Joe's because it was fun to have their food down here for a little bit. Actually,
Michael, where was that again out of?
Well, she's from Davenport, Iowa, Quad Cities.
Okay. So I have a friend named Joe who is from Iowa, who we're going to see in New Orleans in about a week and a half. So I'm going to ask him about Happy Joe's.
Happy Joe's. Yeah, I think there you have some scattered throughout Iowa and like various other places in the Midwest mostly. I think there's a couple here and there. I know there's one in Egypt for some reason. But so yeah, you can check their website for more locations. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
I'm hung up on the sauerkraut pizza.
Yeah,
I know.
My stomach
I kind of want it. Like
me too, Rebecca. I'm in it.
But like, if you put hot dogs and sauerkraut and some mustard on a pizza, I would eat that.
Why wouldn't you?
It wouldn't be able to have tomato sauce though. It couldn't be tomato sauce.
No tomato sauce.
Like mustard.
Yeah, I don't think it does, but I don't. Yeah,
I'm down. I would eat that.
How about some Beyond sausage on that bad boy? Some Beyond brats.
Yeah, you can have the Beyond. Yep. Mm-hmm. Good mustard. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cleveland mustard.
So
all right.
Thing
so
I've known people to ship is the Varsity.
No.
Yep.
Does Varsity ship, or would you need to go and get it?
I went to Georgia State, and one of the deans there would go and get it from the Varsity, and like her daughter lived in Florida, and she would ship it down with FedEx as fast as she could.
Wow.
It would have to be fast because it doesn't.
That's really yucky.
It does not.
Or does it stay forever like McDonald's? You can like eat. That's like 3 years old.
Yeah.
Preserved.
I don't know. Ooh. It's been a while since I've had that. That's something I like, but I can only have it like once a year, maybe.
I need some onion rings. That's really what I need from there.
Onion rings, yes.
It saved me after a particularly crazy Dragon Con day and night. Yeah, definitely the varsity saved me.
Cool. What do you have? What do you have? All right. So last but not least, we've got snacks, desserts, whichever. I know we got to make this quick, and it's a snack or dessert thing. So yeah, you're on the road. But Mike, you already kind of stole mine because I was going to say Buc-ee's, because if you want a snack, they have everything, except for Pepsi products. They don't have Pepsi products.
Thank God.
But they have everything for that you could want, including brisket. But if you want to have that as a snack,
and running shorts,
or any sort of candy, they're.
I almost bought the Buc-ee's onesie, so you never know.
I have the tank top, the running shorts, the cap, and
so
I'm not kidding.
T-shirt.
So Mike, if you said Buc-ee's for lunch, what are you thinking for snack then?
Well, for snack, for me, I would love, I would go up to Canada and I would get Tim Hortons coffee, and as they call them Timmy Bites, which are basically donut holes, and they
Munchies.
are exactly, and they're amazing, and they're a great snack, and they're easy. They're not it's not that messy, when you get them, and because that's for me when I'm driving. I want to have something that I could just grab and shove in my mouth and not have it in my lap half the or down my shirt. And a lot of times, if you get fries, or if you get something messier like nachos or something like that,
Sure.
it's easier that way. And a good cup of coffee or iced coffee will keep me going for hours. So, and it's a great thing. And Timmy's, and they're actually opening Tim Hortons down here in Georgia, which is really awesome. Yes.
Ooh,
Wow.
sure.
Lots of things are coming to Georgia.
Yeah, we're getting Whataburger and Tim Hortons from both ends. Oy.
Yeah, we got a couple
of the
Buc-ee's
country,
now.
not the best enough.
Tyra, what about you? What do you got for snack or dessert or what have you? Drink or whatever?
I went drinks. So I have two. One is in New Orleans. I guess it's a theme for me today. Daisy Dukes has 2-for-1 margaritas and bottomless hurricanes.
That's perfect if you're driving.
Oh my gosh.
On road trips.
Yeah, so this is after you've arrived, and they'll serve you the hurricane, and they'll ask you, is that too much alcohol? Do you need more alcohol? Oh, we'll make the next one better. Fabulous.
Wow.
I had 3 Bloody Marys, and I was quite happy. So my other place is a coffee place, because we search out hometown coffee places wherever we go. And this one's in Jensen Beach, Florida. It's called the Bunkhouse Coffee. And it's right off of Jensen's main square. And they serve they have a lot of vegan foods. So you're set. You can go there. But they have amazing coffee and smoothies. And every time we're in Jensen, we go there. So Bunkhouse Coffee in Jensen Beach.
Nice. Rebecca, what about you?
I have generic answers. Basically, the getting up early in the morning and leaving before the sun comes up and getting a huge cup of iced coffee or cold brew, preferably with oat milk in it, is one of my favorite things in the world. Just a big one too. And just drive
the bigger, the
better. Drive drinking that as the sun comes up. It's very nice.
Oat milk. Can we just talk about how wonderful oat milk is?
Oat milk is the way to go.
Yeah.
I love it. And as far as food, I said anything. That's the wonderful part about snacks on a road trip. Everybody, it's common knowledge that you don't have to count those calories.
Absolutely.
They don't count if you're going between state lines. So it's perfect.
As long as you're driving and in motion, it doesn't count. You're burning them off as you're eating them. Right.
Yep.
And especially if you're changing time zones, it's even better.
Absolutely. Yeah. You actually
lose weight.
You lose calories that way. Yeah. It's amazing how that works. So very nice. Very nice. And last but certainly not least, our gourmet, Sherry, what dessert snack food do you have for us?
You guys will love this. So there's a little place in Pittsburgh that, again, is not downtown. It's kind of off the beaten path, not far from downtown, that Dylan and I went to last time we went to a Steelers game. The next morning, we went at 10 in the morning, but it wasn't breakfast because it was called Pierogies. Hold on, let me get the exact name. Pierogies Plus. And it was actually like an old gas station that was converted to these little old ladies are in there, and you can get all kinds of pierogies. And we got them. We ate them right in the car at 10:30 in the morning. Because if you go later, like forget about it. There's going to be lines and lines and lines. So we went on a Monday. I think it was the game was on a Sunday. So we went Monday morning as soon as they opened, and people were. I think it was around Thanksgiving or Christmas, because people were like ordering massive amounts of them for the holidays. And we even got, I think it was ricotta and apricot pierogies.
Wow.
That's fancy
Interesting.
Deli got some kind of, big old kielbasa with sauerkraut too, so they have for the meat lovers.
Sauerkraut.
That's very big. Do we have to go back there?
Yeah. Pierogies Plus,
yes,
y'all.
we do. We have to go back to the sauerkraut.
Well, that's a great place to end it. So because I am, sauerkraut aside, I am starving now. So we've had all this talk about food. We're gonna have to put an end to this for now. But thank you guys so much for listing your favorite places to eat, especially when you're traveling. We will be right back after. I think we're gonna actually. I think we do have a.
We have a creative outlet.
We have a creative outlet this week. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to close the show.
And now we're here with our friend, Zack Howard. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Howdy.
Cool. You have a great project going on. You got Moonshine Bigfoot.
I do. That's my new image series that we're in the middle of our Kickstarter for. It's been going very well. We funded in 11 hours. We were number 3 ranked Kickstarter in the world, I think, during C2E2, which was pretty cool. Got a lot of fanfare there. Great reception. So yeah, we're pretty excited. You want me to go into the pitch or?
No, absolutely. Tell us about it.
Of course.
Let's go, fans. Sorry,
what is Moonshine Bigfoot? We want to know what it is.
We're gonna give it to you here, the fast pitch. So our tagline is the greatest cryptozoological action adventure comedy of all time, to make you run out of breath properly. And we're just trying to. I was in the middle of my opus, my next book that I'm doing, but it's about 450 pages and pretty heavy-handed. It's good stuff. I'm proud of it, but. I was in some movie negotiations for an old IP I did with Sean Murphy called Outer Orbit.
Cool.
And
I remember.
Who knows if it's going to happen? These deals, they're wonky as hell. But it was really exciting. And they're very interested in making an animated movie out of it. And it got me thinking. As I kind of the last 15 plus years of my career mostly just been horror comics and Joe Hill and Hellboy and blood and guts and tension and all these things and darkness. And I was thinking back how much fun I had doing a comedy. And that's just stuck with me over a 6-month period. And next thing you know, I'm drawing a Bigfoot driving a hot rod car outrunning the law, trying to get his moonshine to the local speakeasy. And we're pretty proud of it. It's kind of a loving satire of 1980. I just choose that year to kind of help pinpoint people a little bit, but 1980 Americana. So we're taking this. Originally came off of us kind of bitching and making fun of the Dukes of Hazzard and how they just keep trying to remake it, but they kind of forget. Whenever you see Hollywood, not always, but almost always, when you see Hollywood remaking things, they forget the kind of like the spirit and the soul of the project and why it was popular at the time. It was popular. What all the ingredients that made it popular at that time and what endeared itself to the fan base. And instead, they just try to make it a high octane modern version of X, and it just becomes kind of a sad parody of what it was. So regardless, long story short, I was bitching. I said, if you're going to make another Dukes of Hazzard movie, just have Bigfoot driving the damn thing. And next 6 months later, we're literally drawing it. And under a concept, we got Image picked up the series concept in a paragraph write-up. And fortunately, I have some contacts, and that went really well. And I had to put together a quick crew, and I got Steve Ellis, who's a painter now for Magic the Gathering, but he used to draw Lobo, a good friend of mine. He's cartooning it, and then I do finishes over it. I couldn't be happier with this book. It's I promise it'll make you laugh, and I think that's something, actual humor. I challenge everybody. When's the last time you actually read a story that was funny in comic books? Like actually funny, that not just a shtick of let's throw Deadpool's stupid head over a ravine or something like that, and he'll grow on the other side. Those jokes are just kind of beaten to the ground. I think we have legitimate page by page funny satire with very endearing characters in a ridiculous world. And I hope everybody at least looks at our animated trailer, because I think it'll curl your toes. So
that's awesome. It is awesome. I saw some of the drawings, like the original sketches and stuff, and they look great. They really look great.
Yeah, the art is very fun.
Appreciate it. I like to think the stories is good, but one thing I can promise you, Steve Ellis, Nelson Daniel, and myself, that's 75 years combined comic book talent, Eisner's, Harvey Awards, whatever indie awards that have come and gone over the last 3 decades, and all the crap in between. And we're bringing our absolute best. We're bringing very high level, high octane artwork to a project I don't think you'd normally see that type of stuff on. You'd usually see kind of run of the mill cartooning. And I think we bring high level illustration with a really fun flair that feels animated, but it's still highly textured, and my usual crap, 4 billion trees,
right,
and stuff like that. So I think it's engaging on all fronts. I think the characters are endearing. We're all very good storytellers, and I think we got a lightning in the bottle story. And it's just, I think the art's gonna again curl your toes. And
the question I had with the project was, is it one and done, or is it going to be a full series? Or
well, it's 4. It's a 4-issue Image series. It's going to be 100 pages, approximately 100 pages, about 24 to 26 pages an issue we have blocked in right now. We're in the middle of issue 1. We had to get going on this. Though it comes out this February, we wanted to avoid the holidays, because originally we were given like the week of Thanksgiving or some crap like that. And I was like, I don't want my book launching when grandma's, making cranberries for you. So, and then Christmas and all that. So we just chose February. Then we don't have to worry about bunch ups and scheduling or anything like that. And so it's 100 pages. And
that's awesome.
Going so well, we've already planned the sequel. The sequel's called Canada Ball Run. So we're having a lot of fun with that era.
Sticking with that 80s vibe.
Well, the thing is, what I really miss about that era, and I think Dukes of Hazzard is a good case study, is that when you were watching these kind of high concept, goofy kind of like live action cartoon shows like Dukes of Hazzard or Knight Rider or whatever, BJ and the Bear, you didn't really delve into geopolitical struggles and things like that. It was a very clean, small little microcosm of fun, and you didn't think about things like, I had no idea who General Lee was and what the Civil War really meant and things like that. So all that pollution that comes with that flag and the general in the Civil War and all that terrible heavy weight that comes with that, that didn't affect you as a kid. You were just kind of in the moment, enjoying these 2 goofballs outwitting bumbling lawmen and doing huge jumps and things like that. And I really think I don't
think they even touched on any of that until the movie, that horrible movie.
Well, see, that's the thing, is they're going about those types of things. We didn't like the movie just because it had again, the pollution that comes with the Dixie flag on the car and things like that. That isn't why we loved it as a kid. We just loved it as a hot rodding, chase show. And it was a slice of Americana, albeit very naively presented, compared to the terribleness of the real world. But I miss that escapism to where you could get lost in something and you're like, here's a goofy world that you can leave all your troubles behind and just smile for X amount of time. And that's what we're trying to harness with this. So we bring in all the fun kind of pop culture at the time, the first wave of anime coming to the US, like Speed Racer tropes in it. I mentioned BJ and the Bear. He'll be running him off the road. We have and one of my favorite things about this, Bigfoot's the skeptic in the story. He's the Scully from X-Files. So the whole world around him is crazy, but he doesn't really believe in anything. He's just a good old boy trying to get his work done. But with G-Force, Transformers, Knight Rider, all these goofball shows and just these really simplistic, high concept things that brought a lot of joy to me as a kid, whether justified or not. We're trying to capture that magic again and just kind of stuff it in I call it highbrow toilet humor. So we're being very thoughtful about our stupid jokes in it, if that makes sense. And
absolutely,
totally makes sense.
And
so, how can people find you?
So we're on Kickstarter right now I'm dyslexic, so I don't want to say the link wrong, but you can go to Kickstarter right now. You can just search us there, or you can go to www.inked.pub/Moonshine Bigfoot. And there we are. And you get I don't know. I'm pretty excited. I hope everybody at least checks out the trailer, because we got a 1.5-minute animated trailer. It's pretty brilliant. At least I think it is. And we even hired an actor to do kind of Waylon Jennings VO. So like the Waylon Jennings from Dukes of Hazzard, when he's all, hey, the good old boys just don't know what they're getting into type stuff. We got that for the VO of it, and it kind of shows the whole tone and wackiness of the world. And hey, here's a good one. We have, just to kind of sum up our stupid world that we built. Ronald Reagan is actually an escaped, repurposed Chuck E. Cheese animatronic doll. And so like during the middle of UN speeches, he's all serious. And then he'll break down and start singing a 20-minute song about pizza deals. And nobody even says a word. And then he goes back to it and he's talking official and everything like that. And that's the fun of our world. We got a disgraced former child television host that his puppet runs the black market for the entire South. And his name is Uncle Pineapple. And he's just a blistering drunk with a proper British parrot that's a puppet that he talks to, or I think it's a vulture. But his girlfriend Amethyst is a new age hippie, at least from 1981, that makes her living by selling pictures of her feet in the back of magazines. And we had to come up with a thing where there's not OnlyFans back in 1980. So she's a foot salesman selling pictures. And in fact, she's the inciting incident for the moonshine still to get infested with hallucinogenic mushrooms, because during one of her sock moon blessing ceremonies, she dropped all of her psilocybin mushrooms in the still. And moonshine, unbeknownst to moonshine, Bigfoot, he creates basically the best way to describe it is They Live glasses, like from John Carpenter's movie They Live. Mm-hmm. So if you drink this moonshine, you can see through propaganda and things like that. And a senator actually ends up having a drink of this and goes on a big spiel. And that's how the Illuminati, our version of the Illuminati, gets involved and tries to come after Bigfoot. So, and of course, they have, like, if you remember the old cartoon Mask, where they had those stupid, they fly a mask aircraft. So we're trying to, if you're Gen X, this is just cotton candy laced with a little bit of crack in it for you.
I love it. That sounds awesome, dude.
Great. Well, we will have a link to it in our show notes. And as we like to remind people, just because they've met their goal doesn't mean that they don't need your support. So if you want to get this book, want to make sure that this book happens and everybody gets paid, you want the book anyway. You have to get the book. I mean, it's Bigfoot, Trucker Bigfoot. You have to get this book. So I definitely recommend checking it out on Kickstarter. And yes, just because Image is associated with it doesn't mean that like they're all getting Image money either.
Well, Image is just it's you get a percentage of sales. So to produce the book, they don't pay for a dime.
Right.
Even a jerk like me, I don't get my Hellboy rate for drawing my own Image series. Right. So this is how we fund it. And
Absolutely.
Again, we have 3 expensive artists and a writer and a letterer to pay for. We're going to make do with whatever we get, and I'm honored that people give us this money. And there's 2 things that we're doing to show that appreciation. One, we're going to give a certain portion of all of the money, whatever percentage or whatever total we get, we're giving a percentage to St. Jude's Hospital, which have already done one charity. We've already done one moonshine drink and draw at C2E2, which went really
awesome.
Well. And we're going to continue that because I think it's very important to pay it forward. If people
Absolutely.
are going to give us, I wouldn't say it's quite charity because you get books and artwork and stickers and coffee mugs and T-shirts, but it is charitable because you're helping us be independent. I don't want to go back to inking Aquaman annuals. I'm very honored to draw for a living, but there's just certain things that just grind you to a pulp. You want to do other things with your life, and this is a chance for all of us to own this IP, get paid as independent creators. Albeit, whatever money we can get. And so far people have been wonderful to us. And to that point, we just passed our 4th stretch goal. And
Nice.
That means you get a total, every stretch goal, we're giving 2 to 4 books away with the, so you get 2 to 4 books every stretch goal, for every backer. So even if you back $1 at the end of this, you're going to get the total of all the books that were for each stretch goal. And right now we're at 13 books that you get for free. And that includes,
awesome.
I think it's the first 3. It went from simple things like, I think it's called America Kaiju in our production studios book. Mm-hmm. You get those 3 issues, but then you get to the second tier, you start getting to the better stuff. Which was like my old podcast art book, which involves like Dan Panosian, all the heavy hitters, and us doing like Mike Mignola and all those fun. So you get an entire sketch, get the PDF of that, and then you get Groom Lake, which is Temple Smith's book, and Chris Ryle, and then you get my just out of print most popular sketchbook. It's my cover process sketchbook, which is completely out of print now. So you get that PDF. And then we also have High Moon, which is Steve Ellis's DC book, which is pretty hot, and it's out of print nowadays. So you get the entire volume of that, the whole first volume. So you get a free graphic novel. And then we just hit our 4th stretch goal. And Claire Meath, my studio mate, up-and-comer who just has a hit book, Mother 47 with CEX, she has very popular sketchbooks that she does every year. You get the first 4 out of print ones that you can't get anymore for the 4th stretch goal, along with Ash Wood's String Divers. So nice. We're not trying to give chump change. You get 12 badass books. No matter what you give us, $1, you get 12 books. So we're trying to be generous. We pulled all of our resources. Even Chris Ryle, my old who I did Shaun of the Dead with, my one of my first editors, I did his first comic book. He's now doing Syzygy Press for an imprint of Image, and that's who we're going through. He's throwing his books in the ring. We weren't expecting to get rid of all of our stretch goals so quickly, so we got to come up with some more. But at this moment, you get
a good problem to have.
Books. And we got great stuff. Cheap signed books, cheaper than you can buy them on the stand. The cheapest way you can get original art from Steve Ellis and I, it's only, I can't even remember what we have it right now. It's like 180 to 200. You get an original page of pencils and original page of inks by me. And, this is, if you have to go through my dealer, it's quite a different price. First poster's already sold. Second cover's available. We had a lot of fun things, like you could be the speaking role, you could be the bartender in the speakeasy of Uncle Pineapple Speakeasy. That went in 3 minutes. We weren't expecting anybody to grab that one. And there's 6 people that paid to be in the comic book, so they're gonna be patrons drinking in the bar and stuff. So we try to make it fun, and we just put up merch for it, so you can get stickers. Our beer coasters have been very popular for whatever reason, and so on. So I apologize for blathering and chewing the ear off of your listeners.
It's good
Our
stuff.
Listeners love it. Don't worry.
As this comes out, people will have less than a week to join in on the fun. So go to this Kickstarter. We'll have a link in our show notes.
We should be past our 5th stretch goal by then. So I think at that point you get like 800 books. I don't know. We're gonna have
you're gonna get a long box.
Fun for you.
You get a long box shipped to your house.
That's what you get.
All right. Thanks, Zach. It's been awesome
Zach
to have you on.
will sign the box and everything. So it's perfect.
I will. I promise. In gold. Thank you for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick break and we'll close up the show. All right, YouTube listeners and viewers, thank you for sticking with us. And I hope you guys are hungry too, because we are now going to talk about the worst road food you've ever had. And putting everyone on the spot on this one.
Oh my gosh.
And it doesn't matter what meal you guys think of, you have to think of the worst.
Dude, I've already said powdered eggs. So
yeah.
I think
I'm you already won the category, Mike. So.
Like powdered scrambled eggs. No, I'm not. No, I don't want to do that again ever.
No, I actually watched when we were out in California at a Days Inn. William and I were going to ComicCon, and we went down to go get breakfast. We watched the guy literally slicing the egg loaf, to put it in the tray. It's like after he pulled it from the microwave, it was just like, oh, it was that's how scary it was and everything. So, all right, Tyra, I'm going to let you go first.
I don't, sitting here thinking, what is the worst food I've ever had on the road? So I'm like the pickiest eater ever. And like, I don't like pickles and I don't like sauerkraut and I don't like things touching my food. And so anytime
you and Judy are like on that.
Yeah. Well, Judy and I have a lot in common is what we've decided.
Yes.
So for me, my worst experiences are when they don't listen. Like it doesn't matter what restaurant it is. If they don't listen to my no pickles, no onions thing, I hate them. I hate all of them. And but I'm going to think of one before we're done. I don't have a specific one, but that's like my pet peeve of when I go to a restaurant and I'm like super nice about it.
I think that's a general rule, a great general rule. Like if the service is crap, I don't care how good the food is. I'm less likely to go there. And if the service is good, if the service is great, if the food is even mediocre, I'm more apt to go there.
It's true.
That makes sense.
Oh, there's a barbecue place. We do barbecue. So my husband and I, when we got married, barbecue was our dinner. And so we try barbecue wherever we go. But there's actually a barbecue near us. It's the Jailhouse Barbecue, and it's horrible.
Wow.
The mac and cheese is really super good, but not good enough for me to eat their barbecue.
Oh, wow. Yeah, if their signature dish that's
right.
Not a good sign.
No, thank you.
It was so bad. The barbecue was so bad you could see the whip marks on the horse where it came from.
Oh, Michael.
So that's awesome. All right, Rebecca, what about you, dear?
So I have decided that because, like I said, when you're on the road, calories don't count. So sometimes I stop for fast food, like we've all had to do at times.
Oh yeah.
But I am morally opposed and do not go anymore to Subway. The reason I don't is, number one, the bread tastes like Subway bread. It doesn't taste like any kind of other. It doesn't matter which kind of bread you get; it's the same taste.
What you mean?
And number two, Subway is deceptive with its fast foodness because you can't eat that in the car without everything
spills
spilling
all
everywhere.
over. Yeah.
So it is actually the worst road trip fast food, in my opinion, like of the big chains. And also, it's just always tastes like Subway bread. So I'm going to go with Subway.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Okay, Sherry.
There goes our Subway sponsor.
Sorry.
That's okay. They could stick with Jared. It's okay.
That's all right. Mike's been petitioning Buc-ee's, if you haven't figured that out already.
As we all should.
I'm going to be sponsoring you in a second. Mine is kind of in general, and then I'll get specific, probably too specific. But we went to, it just always seems like the reason we're snooty, the reason we're such snoots about it is because Dell and I, so often, Dell's my husband, like, well, if we don't research it, we'll go searching and we'll be hungry by the time we're searching. And then we stop, right? Whether it's walking or whether you're driving, you're like, this place looks good. Then you stop, then you eat and have a totally mediocre to sucky meal. And then you leave and you drive one more block. And there's the place, always. And I think actually I should probably stop there. I probably shouldn't tell my other story.
No, probably not. No. And Mr. Mike, you're going to stick with the powdered eggs, right?
I can't think of anything worse.
No, I totally understand that. Well, thank you, YouTube listeners. We definitely would love to hear from you guys. Feedback at Earth Station 1. Please let us know what your worst food you ever ate on the food, or your worst food experience. You know, did you find a fingernail in your barbecue, or did you find a Band-Aid in your Subway? You know, it just all depends, you know, what you're looking for. And I've heard horror stories. Oh, I've heard the horror stories.
Oh, I'm sure, but damn.
Yeah, so
nothing like that.
It gets pretty gross, you know. So definitely thank you guys for just sticking with us. Let's close up the show. So let's go wrap up this episode of the Earth Station 1 podcast. I want to thank our guest for being here. Tyra, thank you so much as always.
Thanks, Mike and Michael.
Anything you want to shout out about or promote?
Yes. Find Building Bold Connections on, you can find me on Instagram at Tyra Burton, and there's a link tree that will help you find my podcast. And I'm all over the web as Tyra Burton because I keep beating the other Tyra Burtons to my name.
That's even better. That is even better. And Rebecca, thank you first off so much for dealing with me at South Carolina over the weekend. It was a ton of fun hanging with you.
I was happy to hang out. It was great. It was a great time.
Anything you want to shout out about?
Sure. If anybody out there likes Stargate a lot, come listen to Three Fresh Short, Unearthing the Stargate. We have a good time. It's a funny time usually. So yeah, check us out.
Usually it is, but you know. So. And dear old Cheryl. Anything you want to promote?
Younger than you, Cheryl. That's
yes.
What we remember. Cheryl, thanks for having me, Mike and Michael. I love being a part of my brother's geeky world in all the best ways. And check out Dear Someone Music. What do you think about that? We're on Facebook. We've got some music up there, harmonies and ukulele. And
you could also check them out on YouTube, folks.
Yeah, check me out on YouTube.
What's
Dear
your
Sherry's
Someone
channel?
Yep.
Dear Someone, or Sherry, Chehree.
Yep. And Mr. Mike, we've made it through another one, sir.
We did, and as usual with these shows, I'm hungry as ever. So it's pretty amazing that we make it through these.
Awesome. Anything you want to shout out about, sir?
Well, I have to shout out about SC ComicCon. I mean, we had such a great time this past weekend. Once again, Robert, Michelle, all the volunteers, everybody who puts that show together does such a top-notch job. And I think this year was probably not only their biggest one yet, but I think it was one of their best, if not the best. This is their 9th. I've been to 7 of them, and I've never sold more books at a show than at a SC ComicCon than this past weekend.
Congratulations,
so I thank everybody. Sir. Thank you. I thank everybody for coming by the table and just spending time, and of course spending money. It really means a lot to me. Great guests, talking with people. It was just an overall fun time. Meeting you, Rebecca, was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also going out to eat, popping some beer, of course. Didn't get a mention, but I'll mention them right now in this show. There's nothing not to love. And next year is their 10th anniversary proper. So Robert says he's going to pull out all the stops. It's going to be even bigger and better. So I can't even wait to see what he's going to come up with springboarding off of this year.
Awesome. It was a great show and met lots of great people, met a lot of listeners, and we gave a special little swag to folks who were established listeners. So it's pretty cool to be able to do that. And you know what? It's all about meeting new folks and seeing some amazing cosplay. It was a lot of fun. And that leads into my shout out. My shout out goes out to you guys at home. I want to give a huge thank you. We got a note from our friends over at Good Pods, and you guys are listening. We always tease that we don't have any listeners, but the Earth Station One podcast has, of course, made it to the following top listener charts on Good Spots. We're number 2 in the top 100 sci-fi chart. We are number 5 in the top 100 fantasy chart, and we're number 12 in the top 100 horror chart. Who would have thought we'd be in the horror chart?
Well,
I guess they see our faces now.
When you start talking about powdered eggs, that's horror.
You know, exactly.
It's Waffle House.
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you guys. It's flattering.
Amazing.
It's really awesome, guys.
We've been doing this for 13 years now, folks, and we're not looking to stop. So
we'll get it right someday.
Someday we'll get onto other charts, but hey, it's a start, and it does show people are listening, people are subscribing to us up on YouTube, and people are finding us somehow. I guess you guys are telling other people about us, and they told one friend and they told another, and the other one told them to go F off. I don't know, so it's always good to do that. But it's a great thing. And you know what? Thank you guys as always. And as always, thanks for listening to the Earth Station One podcast. Always remember, we couldn't do this without you. If you want to support the podcast, please check out our Tee-Public store and get some really cool ESO Network swag, including the new Darren Noel Wonder Warrior shirt. Also, remember, if you want to listen to our show before the rest of the world, why not join in the ESO Network Patreon? For as little as $1 a month, you can help support us here on Earth Station One. Check out the ESO Network Patreon at patreon.com/ESO Network. Of course, we always want to hear from you guys. Please write us anytime at feedback@earthstation1.com. Remember, you could also find Earth Station One wherever fine podcasts are found. Now, Earth Station One can also be found in video format up on YouTube. Please subscribe and tell all your friends about us. And also remember, like and subscribe, and also click on the bell so you know when new episodes are coming out. Thank you for listening to us, everyone. We do appreciate you guys more than you ever know. And on behalf of myself, Mike Faber, of course, Mr. Michael Gordon, and of course, Rebecca Davis, Tyra Burton, and Cheryl Gendron. Thank you so much for listening, folks. We'll see you here next time on the Earth Station One podcast. Peace, and we are done. Bye. Go get some food. Starving. Come on. Everyone's going to Waffle House. Come on.
Going on the road.